Good evening and Jai Hind. Good evening, everyone. Yes, Amit, you can ask your question. Good evening. I hope all of you are doing well. Yes, Amit, you can ask your question before we start the session. You can ask your question. Good morning, good evening. I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening. Okay, so in the last session, that is on Friday, we have discussed about this. We have discussed about this portion of artificial intelligence. We have seen whether this is good for the students or not, what advantages it has, what challenges it has. So we have discussed that aspect of artificial intelligence. We have even discussed about AI coach also. We have seen about the contribution of women in India. On 7th of March, we have discussed that what has been the contribution of women in India, and we have also discussed about certain inflation related terminologies. In the last session on 7th of March, we have discussed these topics. Now in today's session, the topics which we are going to see, first of all, we have got a new tiger reserve in form of Madhav National Park, that is from Madhya Pradesh. So this is one of the article which we are going to see. Second thing is again from prelims related aspect. There is a temple, Thakkolam Temple, which is there in Tamil Nadu. So we are going to discuss that what is the relevance of it, why it is there in the news, and some of the related terminologies. Then we have this one thing, carbon border adjustment mechanism. Right now, when this US and China trade war or US and India trade related issues are going on, or just because of US and its different decisions with respect to international trade. So this carbon border adjustment mechanism is again there is in the news, because now European Union have to come with a different policy. Okay. And the fourth topic is gender and judiciary. Okay. So this is one topic which we are going to talk about here. How to UPSC time is passing very fast. I did not get the question. Okay, there is one question, some recommendation for philosophy optional as for philosophy optional. I will suggest you do one thing, in the market you may find different notes and all, so just try to go through once. That may be helpful for you. Okay. There are different videos also. You can refer to IGNOU notes also or IGNOU materials also. Some of the IGNOU lessons are also available. So there is one benefit here. In certain optionals, you will find that there are a number of lectures related to IGNOU and all. So you can prefer that also for philosophy. Okay. How to prepare for UPSC? Time is passing too fast. Time is passing at its own rate. Time is not changing. Time is not fast. You have to do how much you are utilizing that time. Time is going on the same rate as it was going on in last year or last decade or last century. It is going on at the same rate. What you have to do is you have to prioritize your day, prioritize your routine, that what you are going to focus on. Time is passing by in the same manner. Now you have to do just one thing, make a daily target of your study, daily, weekly and monthly target, and try to fulfill that, try to prioritize that above everything. Okay, just to give you one example, suppose you are in a job. When you are in a job and you are given a target, so at that time you don't miss that target, because you know that if you miss that target, there will be punishment for it, or there will be some loss to you for that. So when you are not completing your study related targets on time, it is just because you know that there is no such loss, or there is no such like punishment or something, or you are not losing something. When you get that idea that yes, I am going to lose because of this neglect, then you will start focusing on it. You will start prioritizing it. Okay. So just that one part. Make daily, weekly, and monthly target. Okay. Art and culture, you can go through any either the NCRT IGNOU notes or Nitin Singhania. You can go through it. Okay. Make your daily, weekly, and monthly target. Make your subject wise target. Follow that. There is no philosophy, there is no strategy of UPSC. All these things are just discussion. There is only one thing, there is a syllabus of UPSC, there are course material for UPSC. You know the syllabus, you know the question paper, you have to just complete it. There is no other strategy. This is the only strategy. There is syllabus, there is books, there is previous year questions. You have a limited time, you have to complete it. There is no other strategy. Okay. Now, coming to today's topics, before we go into that, let us practice some questions. With reference to different type of inflationary and deflationary condition, consider the following statement. Stagflation is a situation where high inflation coexists with slow economic growth and high unemployment. Second thing is, deflation refers to a persistent decline in the general price level, often leading to a reduced consumer spending and economic slowdown. Skewflation occurs when the prices of some goods and services rise significantly while others remain stable or decrease. So this is question number 1. This is question number 1. Then Mohit, what can I suggest? Like, since there is no option, and about philosophy, I have no such idea that I can tell you that you can approach this person or that person. I can give you only one thing in this regard, that there are IGNOU lectures and other things available on website or YouTube. So for a philosophy, I have only this much idea. Okay. Good evening. So I think C option, most of the people are going for option number C. C is stagflation is a situation where high inflation coexists with slow economic growth and high unemployment. So first one is correct. Deflation, we know that there is a general decline in price level and consumer spending and all other things are also on lower side. So second one is also correct. Third is also correct. Skewflation is when like some of the prices are going high whereas others are going low. Okay, so this is like a third option. So here the answer will be all three, 1, 2 and 3. With reference to AI Kosh recently seen in the news, consider the following statement. It is India's first AI driven knowledge repository developed to support AI research and innovation. Niti Aayog has launched it under the National AI Strategy. So which of the statement given above is are correct? So here we have this one question with respect to AI. AI Kosh. Last day we have discussed this topic. Last day we have discussed this one topic. In crash course, I will be starting with I think 2nd or 3rd April. From 2nd or 3rd April, I will be starting the classes. And in entire month of April, there will be classes for environment and science. I will be covering the current affairs of environment and science also for the crash course along with the environment and science classes. Okay. So what will be answer here? Second question, AI Kosh. Last day we have discussed this topic about AI coach. A option. Okay, so I think that is also correct. If we look at this, AI Coach is India's first AI-driven knowledge repository developed to support AI research and innovation. So that is a correct statement. But it has not been launched by Niti Aayog. Here you will find that we have the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, we have MASCOM and other institutions plus others. So they have launched this AI coach. So Ministry of Electronics Information Technology, they have a NASCOM, they have come together with this AI coach. So this second option here is incorrect. Answer will be option number A. Artificial intelligence can effectively do which of the following? This is a previous year question of 2020. Bring down electricity consumption in industrial units, create meaningful short stories and songs, disease diagnosis, text to speech conversion, wireless transmission of electrical energy. So that is the question. Question number 3. Question number 3, that artificial intelligence can effectively do which of the following? Bring down electricity consumption in industrial units. Second is saying create meaningful short stories and songs, disease diagnosis, text to speech conversion and wireless transmission of electrical energy. So which one is correct? Question number 3. C option. Okay, so this is a previous year question, but I think here there is more confusion in this question. Now tell me about this. Like when we are talking about this question, you may have heard about this one, that AI can create meaningful short stories and songs, correct? You may have also heard about this, that disease diagnosis can be done. Okay. You may have heard about this, that text to speech conversion is also possible. Text to speech conversion is one of the easiest thing. Even bringing down electricity consumption in industrial unit, that is also something which AI can do effectively. Now, where have you seen that it can go for wireless transmission of electricity? Wireless transmission of electricity has not been done yet by the AI systems. It can reduce it, but it cannot control this wireless transmission of electricity, and that too effectively. Okay. So even if it is done by some of the mechanized systems, that too in a close contact. Nowadays we have this wireless charging of mobile phones, but there also you have to put near the magnetic field, then only we can do that. Okay. So that is not being done by the AI systems. Okay. So this fifth option is incorrect. Now if you remove this fifth option, we have got only one option here, 1, 3 and 4. 1, 3 and 4. So these are the four options. Sorry, these are the three options which you can choose from here. Even 2 is correct. Option number 2 is also correct, but you don't have the options here. You have to remove the fifth one. So then you get the answer like this, option B. This is one thing which you have to understand in UPSC. Sometimes they are giving you these type of questions also, where 4 options may be correct, but only 3 of them are there in the codes. Only 3 of them are there in the codes. So in that situation, you have to find out which one is correct and which one is not correct. Okay. So this one is how to bring down electricity consumption in industrial units. There is a simple thing. If you look at the AI systems, AI system can detect that, like in normal households also or others also, AI system can detect motion and all, and on the basis of that it can reduce or increase the electricity supply. In machineries also, as per the requirement, it can switch on or switch off the machines. Okay. So that is AI system. Simply you can see that this is a smart board. If I leave it for some time, it will automatically switch off or go in power saving mode. So that is also this use of AI systems. Okay. So AI systems can be much more evolved than this. They can control the electricity consumption at each and every level. That is why we have the option here 1, 3 and 4. Now, coming to today's topic, the first topic is Madhav Tiger Reserve. So now we have got the 58th Tiger Reserve of India. 58th Tiger Reserve. This is the 9th Tiger Reserve in Madhya Pradesh. This is the 9th Tiger Reserve in Madhya Pradesh. Okay. Now, if we talk about this area, okay, like you know that in Madhya Pradesh, when we talk about the tiger reserves and all, you may be aware that this is an area which is dry deciduous vegetation. Here in the newspaper, you will find that it is given how much tigers are there, how many cubs are there. They are not relevant for your UPSC examination. But how many cubs are there, how many tigers are there, we have to just ignore that part. If we talk about the vegetation, of this area, so vegetation will be dry deciduous. Dry deciduous. If we talk about the faunal composition, of course tiger is there, so deer will also be there, but nothing specific. Tiger, deer and normal animals which are there, they are found in this area of Madhav Tiger Reserve. Okay. Now, when we talk about Tiger Reserve, there is a concept of core area. Okay. There is a concept of core area. In the case of Tiger Reserve, there is a concept of core area. So can you tell me what is this core area? When we talk about these tiger reserves, when we talk about this tiger reserve, there is a concept of core area. So what is that? What is the relevance of it? What is the relevance of it, of the core area? Any idea about this? See, when we are talking about the core area, you will find that no human interference in this area. You will find that this area is often the core areas or the main areas of any national park or tiger reserve. Okay. This area is often the core area of a national park or wildlife sanctuary. It is often the core area of a national park or a wildlife sanctuary. Okay. Now we have this one simple thing. Who will declare the tiger reserve? There is one simple thing, like we have discussed this multiple times, that who declares a tiger reserve. So I think you can tell me this easily, that who is responsible for declaring the tiger reserve. There is one thing called as critical tiger habitat. So that is the main zone or the core areas of, this is often called as critical tiger habitat. Okay. So now tell me about this part. Who declares the tiger reserve? Is it done by the union government or by the state government? Like recently, if you look at the news, you will find that it is written in the newspaper that the center declared the Madhav National Park in Madhya Pradesh as country's 58th tiger reserve. Okay. Now tell me about this part. Who will declare this? So remember this part, sometimes you will get confused with the linings of the newspapers also. So when we talk about this tiger reserve, remember one thing, state shows willingness to declare tiger reserve. Then state approach NTCA. NTCA approves. Tiger reserve. Then the state declare tiger reserve. So remember this one part, that first the state government will approach the NTCA. NTCA will state will approach the NTCA. NTCA will approve the tiger reserve, and then after the state government will then declare it to be a tiger reserve. Okay. Now the next part is like, what is the process of denotification? How it can be denotified? Okay. If a state is willing to denotify an area, so it will require permission from two authorities. Denotification, permission from Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Environment, and permission from National Board of Wildlife. This one is headed by PM. Here basically it is like permission from NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority, NTCA. This NTA headed by Ministry of Environment. Okay. So if there is a state which is willing to denotify it, then they have to consult this NTCA, and then also they have to also consult the NBWL, National Board for Wildlife. If both of them agrees, then they can declare it. Remember here one thing, when we talk about Project Tiger here, so Project Tiger is a centrally sponsored scheme. A centrally sponsored scheme. So I think you know the idea what is centrally sponsored scheme. I think you can tell me what is this central sponsored scheme. Many of you are older students, so you know that. Some of you are new also. So what is a centrally sponsored scheme? What is this centrally sponsored scheme? There are two types of scheme. One is called as central sector scheme. One is called as centrally sponsored scheme. Okay. So remember one thing. There is one thing called as central sector scheme. Central sector scheme. So this one is fully funded by union. Fully funded by union government. That is central sector scheme. When we talk about centrally sponsored scheme, partially funded by union and state. So partially funding is from the union and remaining funding is from the state. It can be 60-40, 50-50, 90-10, 70-30, any ratio. But centrally sponsored and central sector. So if it is central sector, full central government. But if it is centrally sponsored, so partial funding is there, some from the state government, some from the central government. Okay. So that is one part. Okay. Now coming to the second news article, which is basically with respect to this Thakkolam Temple. Thakkolam Temple. So why this is there in the news? There is a area, Thakkolam in Ranipet district in Tamil Nadu. Okay. So there is this area, Thakkolam area in Tamil Nadu, and there are various temples here. Okay. There is one very famous temple here, Jalantheshwarar. Okay. Jalantheshwarar temple, which is there in this area of Thakkolam. So now if you look at this temple here, you can see that these are the remains of the walls of the temple. Okay. So we see that this area, this Thakkolam temple, it requires restoration. Requires restoration. It is situated there in Ranipet district, Tamil Nadu. It is there in Tamil Nadu. Now what we see that, like, this is the temple which is believed to be constructed in 6th century by the Pallavas. Okay. So constructed in 6th century, constructed in 6th century by Pallavas. So this is a temple which is, you can imagine, it is a 1400 years temple, and right now it is not in a very good state. There is a terminology which was there in the newspaper, and that terminology is like, there is Kumbh Abhishekam. There is one thing called as Kumbh Abhishekam. Kumbh Abhishekam. Okay. Kumbh Abhishekam. Let me tell. Abhishekam. So can you tell me what is this Kumbh Abhishekam? Any idea about this? What is Kumbh Abhishekam? Sometimes in the prelims examination, you are generally given certain terminologies. In the art and culture section, you get certain terminologies and then they ask the meaning of it. So there is one term called as Kumbh Abhishekam. So the temple authorities, they are saying that the last Kumbh Abhishekam was done 15 years ago. So from the last 15 years, there is no Kumbh Abhishekam of this temple. Okay. So what is Kumbh Abhishekam? Kumbh Abhishekam is basically purification of a temple. Purification of temple and idol by holy water. By holy water. So this is purification of temple and idol by holy water. That is called as Kumbh Abhishekam. Okay. You may have heard about certain things like Rudra Abhishek and all. So there is one term, Kumbh Abhishekam, which is basically about the purification. The purification of the idols or the temples using the holy water. Okay. So that is like, there is a huge gathering. There is there is various festivals or rituals which are organized there, and then there is purification of the entire temple and the idols. Okay. Usually done around usually done after 12 years or less. So usually done for some of the temples, it is done frequently. For some other temples, it is done generally after 12 years. So we have this Kumbh Abhishekam, which is done for almost all the temples. For almost all the temples, there is this Kumbh Abhishekam, which is like purification exercise of the temples or the idols. Okay. Now, if we talk about particularly this area, the Thakkolam Temple, now why this is significant? It has got 51 inscriptions. It has got 51 inscriptions. It has got 51 inscriptions. Okay. And here you will find that there is mention of a Pallava king, Aparajita. Okay. Pallav king Aparajita. Mentions about Pallava king. Nowadays also you see this part that when some MLAs or MPs, when they are constructing some roads, like from their fund or in their constituency, if there is a construction of a road, they also have this a stone built there which says that, okay, this road or this drainage or this particular work has been done by a particular MP or MLA. Now it is a different matter that neither the road survives nor that inscription survives. In the present times we see that first of all the inscription goes, inscriptions vanish, and then the roads or drainage also vanish. But this is a temple which was constructed in 6th century, and we still see that the inscription is also there, plus we also see that the temple is still existing there. Okay. So that is one inscription of the Pallavas time. Now you will find that it also mentions about the city of Thiruvural. Mentions about city of Thiruvural. Sorry, Vural. So this mentions that the temple where it belongs, okay, this temple is, or this temple was earlier, or the place which is there, now the place which we call as Rani Pet or Thakkolam Temple, it was earlier called as Thiruvarul. Thiruvarul was the name of this city. Okay. You will find that there are other inscriptions. It mentions about the grants. Like if the king is giving certain grants, land, gold or goats, grant, gold, land, etc., given to temple. So there was a term, I hope that you all are reading this part. Okay. There was certain terminologies which was used for those donations. These donations were given certain names, Brahmadan, Devdan. If you recall that, the grants were given certain names. The grants have certain names. So you all are students of art and culture, ancient history and all. So tell me about this part, that what was the name of those grants? Brahmadev or Devdan, what was the name of that? And don't say this time that you have no idea. Many of you are reading ancient history, so you have to tell me this part. Godan was also there. Godan, that is the grant of the cows. If you see the location, Agrahara, Godan, these are the recent terms. Godan and Bhudan are the recent terms. I am asking about the times of ancient history. Okay. Now, if you see the location, this is the location here. Here you have this location just near this Chennai portion. Just near this portion of Chennai, we have this Thakkolam Temple. Here we have this Thakkolam Temple just near this part of Chennai. Okay. So here you have Chennai, here you have Bangalore. Okay. So almost in this region, we have this, and here you have Mangaluru. Mangaluru is here. Here you have Bangalore. Here you have Chennai. Here you have Mysore. Okay. So near about this region, we have this Thakkolam Temple. Okay. So remember this one part. It is from the time of Cholas. Sorry, it is from the time of Pallava, Cholas, and Pandyas. Okay. Now coming to the third topic. See, this is the location. If you look at this, this was the area of Pandavas, Cholas, Cheras. Okay. Here we have Rashtrakutas, etc. So these were the important locations. But I think when you are going through ancient India, just see their chronology also. In ancient India, they are asking many questions from Chola, Cheras, and other empires. So read about them. They are very much important. Okay. Now, coming to this one article, see the context of the news. The context of the news is European Union aggressive regulations pose a hurdle to free trade agreement talks. So now a pressure is being built upon this European Union. Why the pressure? We have seen that over the last 1 month, the policies of US had changed enormously. And in that light, almost all the countries will have to modify their external policies, especially the allies of US. Especially the allies of US like Canada, like we have this entire European Union. So they will have to reform their policies in the light of the aggressive policies of United States. Okay. So in that context, there is a discussion that European Union needs to change its policies, need to change its various mechanisms which has been imposed by this. Okay. So there is especially one thing, carbon border adjustment mechanism. Carbon border adjustment mechanism. So this is expected to take effect in, reporting has been started from 2023. Reporting started from 2023. It will take effect in 2026. So what is this carbon border adjustment mechanism? Let us try to talk about this. Okay. Let us try to talk about this. What is the aim of this? Do you have any idea what is carbon border adjustment mechanism? Any idea about this? Yes, it is a statue of Thiruvallur is also sent, and the name of the town is Thiruvallur. So do you have any idea about this carbon border adjustment mechanism? What is CBAM, carbon border adjustment mechanism? Any idea about this? What is carbon border adjustment mechanism? Climate policy of taxes on carbon intensive products. Okay, but what exactly happens? See, let us explain, let us understand this in a simple term. Okay. Suppose that here we have this European Union. let us say this is our European Union. Okay, this is European Union, and there is a company C1. Okay, there is a company C1. Okay, and there is another company here C2. So C2 is producing, let us say, laptop, and it is being purchased by C1. Here there is purchase, here there is sell. So when this company C2 is producing laptop, it may be using certain energy which is carbon intensive. Let us say that it is using coal as energy source. Let us say it is using coal as energy. So now what happens that this company is paying a fine of, let us say, 100 euro. It is paying a fine of 100 euro per laptop. Just imagine this, it is paying a fine of 100 euros per laptop. Now there is another company, let us say here we have India, and there is a company C3. Okay, it is also producing laptop, and it wants to sell it to C1. It wants to sell it to C1. Okay. Now suppose that this company pays no carbon tax. Pays no carbon tax. It is paying no such carbon tax. Okay. In that situation, the C1 will have to purchase, or C1 will have to pay fine approximately equal to 100 euro. It will have to pay this approximately 100 euro. The C1 will have to pay. Our company will not have to pay, C1 will have to pay. So now C1, it will find that purchasing things from India may become costlier to it. It may become costly because there is a transportation cost also. Okay. So let us say the total laptop cost here is rupees or euro 500 euro. But now here, let us say India was selling them at 450 only. India was selling them at 450 only. But now they have to pay this fine also of 100. So total cost here will become 550. So total cost here will become 550. So this is a type of barrier which is being imposed by European Union. It says that if you are taking any product from outside of the European Union, if the origin is outside the European Union, then you will have to pay this fine. You have to pay this fine because in that country, the carbon tax may not be similar, or they may not be paying any carbon tax. So now you have to pay that equivalent tax. So this is one thing which is being imposed under this carbon border adjustment mechanism. Now what is the challenge? What is the challenge? If we talk about this, if we talk about the European Union, already in better state of energy transition, means it is already in a better state, it is already using more of non-renewable sources. Renewable sources. It is already using more of renewable sources. So these companies which are located in European Union, they don't have to pay any such fine or anything. So their product will be somewhat like cheaper. Whereas products which are coming from the developing nations, so here what we will see that dependent on fossil fuels or less efficient technology. So in both these cases, the European Union or European Union based any company will get more profit as compared to the other one. So this is a type of a barrier which is imposed by European Union, especially for developing and underdeveloped countries. This is not going to affect the developed nations as much, because for the developed nations, they already have the advantage of technology, they already have the advantage of better transition to renewable sources of energy. But for the developing nations like India, China or other countries, it is going to be a challenge, especially in certain sector. Most impacted sector, most impact is going to be on steel. Steel is one of the industries of India and China which has got huge market in European Union. So steel is there, aluminium is there, electricity is there. Electricity. Then we have this fertilizer also. Okay. Fertilizer also, cement also. So they are going to be impacted from the developing nations. So that is carbon border adjustment mechanism of European Union. So this is going to be one of the major challenge. Okay. Like this is going to be one of the major challenge for developing nations, especially India. Okay. If we talk about this European Union is the third biggest trade partner of India after US and China. Okay. Like China and US, they continuously fight for number one position, but it is either US or China. And then we have the third biggest trade partner, that is European Union. So this, right now we see US is already imposing huge tariff. Now European Union will have this carbon border adjustment mechanism from 2026. So that will be another challenge. That will be another challenge for India's export. Okay. So this is one thing. Like now it is being said that European Union needs to reverse its policy with respect to carbon border adjustment mechanism. Okay. So I am giving you one question here. In light of the changing geopolitics, of world, what reforms European Union must incorporate in its foreign policy? And question number second, in light of rising anti-globalization tariff regime, what must be done by India to improve its trade, improve its external trade, These are two questions for you. Related with this topic. First, in light of the changing geopolitics of world, what reforms European Union must incorporate in its foreign policy? Second thing, in light of the rising anti-globalization tariff regime, what must be done by India to improve its external trade? So these are two questions. I hope you can write answer for this. इंडिया का स्टैंड क्या है इस पे, इसको कैसे हैंडल करें? इंडिया हैज सेड दैट in like having these things, having these unilateral measures are against globalizations. We are in talk with European Union to finalize the deal out of it. Okay, so you will find that India is being practical in many of the issues. Okay, India is being practical in many of the issues. Like suppose that when we are having this trade war with respect to United States, so what we have done, we have not made any public statement like European Union or Canada. There is no comment. Okay. Why? Because when you make public comment, it just becomes headlines. The actual policy takes place in a like a silent room, okay, where there is no such press conference, there is no such negotiations and all. So there the actual discussion takes place at the diplomatic level. So this is one of the main thing about India, that in the present times we are not making any headlines about it. Okay, we are simply saying, okay, we will talk with European Union with respect to it. So it has been 2-3 years already, and India is still not saying a word about this one. India simply says that it is against any such unilateral tariff by any of the country. Okay. Clear, Chandrakant? Now, coming to one last topic, that is gender inequality in judiciary. Gender inequality in judiciary. So there is a significant data which has been provided in this article, closing the gender gap in the higher judiciary. A very significant data has been provided here. So what is the first thing? The first thing is about share of women in high court. Like how much women are there in high court? How many women judges are there in high court? It is only 14.27%. It is just 14.27%. You will find that there is only one high court. There is only one high court which has got the women chief justice. Okay, and that is Gujarat High Court. 1 out of 25 high court have women chief justice. That is Gujarat High Court. There is one of the very prominent Allahabad High Court. This has got only 2% of women judges. They have got only 2% of women judges. Okay. Now, if we are talking about this Supreme Court, in Supreme Court, there are only 2 judges out of 33. Okay. Out of the 33 judges, only 2 judges in Supreme Court. Only 2 women judge in Supreme Court. Okay. So this is one aspect, that how many women are present in our judiciary. That is one aspect of it. There is another aspect of it, that how much appointment is being done, or like why this number is also low, why we have less number of judges in judiciary. So let us see this part, that why we have got this lesser appointment. Okay. So why factor? So can you tell me why we are having lesser number of judges in High Court or Supreme Court? why we are having lesser number of women judges in High Court or Supreme Court? Any idea? Like why we are not having? What is the argument which is given for this? Okay. Like when it is being asked that why we are not having sufficiently high number of judges in the Supreme Court, what is said that? The first thing which is said that there is not enough eligible women candidates. Eligible women candidates. Second thing which is said that there is lesser number of women with seniority. Lesser number of women with seniority. There is lesser number of women with seniority. Okay. And third official reason which is being talked about, or many people say this, that many women do not want to become judges. Okay. As per this article, this is the main suggestion which have been there. Many women do not want to become judge. So that is one aspect. These are the factors, or these are the reasons which are highlighted, that if there is a question from judiciary, especially the higher judiciary, so this is the response, that we are having less number of women judges. First, there are not enough like eligible candidates, not enough senior members, plus many women do not even want to become the judge in High Court or Supreme Court. So that is one thing which is said by the higher judiciary. But why again remains question? One thing is opaque functioning of collegium. We have this one system, collegium system, so it has got this opaque functioning. Okay. Now there is another thing, like since 2020, 9 names have been suggested by the collegium to the government. 9 women names were recommended, but they were not confirmed. Okay. So non-confirmation by the government after collegium recommendation. So there is also this one aspect, that government is not approving the name. Government is not approving the name even if it is being highlighted. Okay. Third important part which has been highlighted here, that there is a provision. There is a provision that in high courts, people can be uplifted from the bar. Means advocates can be appointed as judges in high courts. There is a provision that advocates can be appointed as high court judges. But what we see that very few judges, or you can say one women judge, have been uplifted from bar to the high court judge. Okay. So very few women uplifted from bar to judiciary. So even women who are there as advocates, as good advocates, so they are not generally like taken up in the high courts, or if they are not reaching the high court, their chance to reach Supreme Court is again marginalized. So this is one thing which we see that they are not being promoted. Okay. So now what is the suggestion which has been provided? Like how we can move forward from here? What can be the way forward? What can be the way forward? One of the major suggestion which has been given is like framing a transparent process by the collegium. Okay. Framing of a transparent process and appointment criteria. That you have to fix this part. That okay, why? What is the process? What is the process? What are the criteria on the basis of which you are evaluating a person to be uplifted for a High Court judge or a Supreme Court judge? We have to put that in front of everyone. So that is one thing which has been said. Second thing is, it has said that gender diversity has to be promoted on same line as state, region, religion diversity. In our judiciary, it is generally said that in a conventional manner, there is no rule for this. There is no rule or there is nothing like that. But conventionally, we see that there is following of certain principles, that certain regions, religions, states, they are given equal representation in judiciary, so that there is no discrimination. So that is one thing which has been suggested, that even for judiciary, you can have this gender-based representation also. Okay. Finally, there is a very good line which is written here, that merit and diversity are not contradictory to each other, they are complementary to each other. So that is one line which was given at the end of the article, that merit and diversity are not contradictory to each other, they are complementary to each other. Okay. So that is one thing which you can use in most of the reservation related answer, or wherever you want to like say that okay, diversity must be promoted. So there you can use this line, merit and diversity are not contradictory to each other, they are complementary to each other. Okay. So that will be all. Okay. A collegium itself is a opaque system, so we can have different methods of appointment of judges, okay, which remains transparent and independent. Okay. That will be all. I hope it is clear. So I have given two questions for you also. Let me show you the questions once again. In light of changing geopolitics of world, what reforms European Union must incorporate in its foreign policy? And in light of rising anti-globalization tariff regime, what must be done by India to improve its external trade? So these are the two questions. I hope you can write that. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Any doubt, any question? Okay, so thank you so much. Let's meet then tomorrow and then we will discuss the remaining things. Thank you everyone. Take care.